So what we're going to do is we are going to screen share. So I told you my story, so I can speak really candidly from where you guys are at and where we were at as well. So we were using Google Sheets, we were using whiteboard calendars, and it was just a mess. My husband and I were going to be divorced before we even had anything going on. So, losing jobs, keeping track of orders, just the whole thing. And we were, reprinting jobs, $200 at least a month, just because there was just errors in the proofing and stuff like that. And then just trying to find things too. So like finding, art files, where you're storing your art files. There's 5 different versions on your Google Drive or in your downloads folder. And like, I'm spending an hour trying to find which one was the right one. So it just wasn't working anymore. And we were small when we got it, under $100,000 for sure. And I'm just like, we need this and we can't live without it now, and just help us grow and just be more efficient. So I'm going to share my screen and show you. If you have any questions while I'm doing this, please feel free to interrupt and just say like, hey, how would you do this? It's totally fine. So this, and what we love so much about this is that Inksoft and Printavo, under this Inktovo family, is just a great resource for the industry. So we just have so much content to just help you scale and grow your business, but it's simple. And that's what I love so much about this. So this whiteboard calendar here is essentially that Google Calendar, or that board, or that Google Sheets, and it's put on a whiteboard calendar. So you can drag and drop things and move things around. So we're down, I can't believe it's the end of August or end of July already. It's crazy. So we're down here. All of these boxes represent a job. And so I'm not sure where your customers are living right now in terms of like a database, but you can bring them into your customers over here, or you can just add them manually as you go. You would probably have, because you guys are on the smaller side, you could have a user for all of you guys, right? And then everyone would get their own login, and then they would be able to have their own calendar views and see what's important for them. So whoever's doing your sales will come in here and they would create a new customer, or they could go to this quote button here and they could create a quote right from here, and they could add a new customer as well. So we're going to show you, I'm just going to use a John Doe here. You would enter your customer's information. If they're already in there, it comes right up with any customer notes that you may have for them. So that could be things like, this customer is a VIP, or they always get a discount or something like that. So it's just a good spot to track all of that.
We give customers credit. So say they refer somebody, they get a $25 credit, and that'll be a great spot to have.
Yeah, and this stays per customer, right? So if John Doe orders in 3 weeks from now, then it's going to stay on that customer notes, and it'll pop up here on his next invoice.
Okay.
This gray box over here is where you would put all of that important information from your work orders and your job sheets and your invoices. So the owner would be like whoever is creating that quote, or whoever you want the owner of the job to be. And then the delivery methods are things that you select on your back end. So when I talk about your back end here, it's right over here. There's all different settings back there that you can customize. So you would go back in here and select your delivery options and type out what you wanted to offer.
Okay.
If you use, so we'll just do a pickup. If you can use PO numbers, if you want to, you can put them there. And then this is the date the order is created, the date that it's due for production, and then the date that it's due to your customer. So you would set those based on your workflows and what's going on in your shop.
Okay.
The invoice date you would put down, and then you can also customize terms in your settings on your back end. So you could, create net terms for your customers, 100% deposit, COD, whatever you want us to do. Payment due date. And then do you guys do any contract printing, printing where someone is coming to you and then you're drop shipping to them and they're reselling?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. A lot of it
Usually
is that.
Smaller brands, but yeah.
Okay, so this is a good spot. We use this. We do a little bit of contract printing in our shop, but what you can do is you can create a profile for those customers. So when you're shipping to them, if you need to ship it blind so that the person thinks it's coming from them and not from your brand, you can have their logo and stuff on your box labels and packing slips, which is a cool feature there. The nickname is just the job nickname that you want to give it. What we do in our shop as a practice tip is we put the firm in hand state if there is one, and that's just one more spot besides here that you can see it. Just that way everyone is on the same page and they know exactly what's going on. Customer notes are customer facing. So this is stuff like 2XL, add $2 each, or stuff like, do you want to pick up or pay shipping? Anything that's important to the customer for them to see. And I'll show you what this invoice looks like once we build it out. Production notes are shop facing notes. So for you guys with the cap, you guys have a cap press. Is that what you're using?
Yeah.
Okay. So this would be stuff like your pressure, your temp, anything that you want placement on the hat, anything that you want your shop to see that they need to know about a particular job. And these right here will stay with this job. So if John Doe orders again in 2 or 3 weeks, you can duplicate this and those production notes will be right there.
All right, cool.
These production files here, that's what I was talking about with, downloads folders and trying to figure out where stuff is. You can save it on your server or anywhere else on your computer, but you can actually bring these files into here, upload them, and then they'll live with this job forever. So there's literally no question. Did you say Seth is in production? Is that what you said?
Alex is the one that handles all the actual images and logos and stuff.
Okay.
He can bring it from anywhere, or
yeah, you can bring it from anywhere, your computer, wherever you want. I mean, this is just easy, quick links to like if you have it saved on a drive or something, but you can bring it from anywhere. You can come right here and do my device, and it uses your.
And you can have multiple or no, or just one.
Oh yeah. My husband's printing a job right now. It's a 6-color job on our manual press. And there's all the separations are on there as an EPS file. And there's 6 of them on there and they'll be there forever. And there's no limit in terms of how much space you can use. That's included on here. So there's no point they're going to be like, oh, you're capped out on your space. You can't have production files anymore, which is really cool.
Okay, well, good. That makes it nice. Well, you can just drag it from your computer, right? Yeah. What you do? Okay.
Yeah, yep. You can drag it right from your computer. That's totally fine. Tags you can use for different things. VIP rush. You can really sort and separate anything that you want to. You can use that. We don't use it a ton. Some people use it for like sales teams, or you can find creative ways to use that if you want.
We have a ton of rush orders.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason,
we use it for rush, and then you can sort it out on your calendar and figure out. I'll show you how to do that on your front end calendar on that big whiteboard. You can say like, I only want to see rush orders, things that are tagged as rush, and then it'll pull them up, which is cool. This is where you put all the categories of the things that you guys do. So I'm going to do an embroidery order for you guys, or we'll do a patch order. I don't know if they have DTF on here. No, they don't. Just do a screen print order. All right, so we connect with SAMR, SNS, and Alpha Broder through an open API. So what it's going to do is it's going to bring a couple things in here for you. So it's going to bring a picture of the shirt. It's going to bring a price of the shirt on your back end. And then it's going to...
The price that we get, because I get way better pricing with SNS than I do like that you see on the front end. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So I can double check if it pulls on an account level, but you are like, I know for us at least, we're putting our account information in the settings, and then it's pulling from there. So my assumption is that it pulls from your account. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we're going to build out a screen print quote, we'll just use a Gildan shirt.
All right.
We'll just say black.
Yeah.
And what that's...
that's nice. It just pulls it right from there.
Yeah, so what it's going to do is it's going to do a couple of things. It's going to pull that information up, and then you can put your sizes in. And then this imprint button is going to be the driving force behind what price it generates. So on your back end in your settings, you can create any number of pricing matrices. And don't let this scare you. Basically, what this is doing is it's just taking those paper price sheets or your Excel spreadsheet, and it's just putting them into our settings so that it can generate an automatic price for you. So we'll do screen print, and you can also price by hand outside of Printavo and bring it in if you wanted to do that. It's, it doesn't make a difference. You can come in here and enter a price that off the top of your head. You don't have to use this, but it just keeps everyone on the same page as you're scaling and growing.
Okay, perfect.
So you can, and then the columns for screen print would be the number of colors. Patches, I think, is probably determined by material, and I would think size of the patch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would set all that up on your back end. So the type of work is screen.
A lot of times, like if it's a leather patch, we can make it all one thing. But if it's like a customer patch, each one of our customer patches is different. Like one may cost me $198, the other one may cost me $202. You see?
Yeah. Yeah, and so I'll show you where to add custom products as well. So you can use some kind of custom products and the pricing matrices to get exactly what you need to get.
Okay, cool.
All right, so this is imprint details. So for us, we use it for things like imprint location, imprint color, imprint size, but you could use it for whatever you wanted to. And then he can bring his mockups in from outside of here. So you would just click this and the same thing. You would just pull it in from your computer.
Oh, that'd be nice. So they can already see a mock-up what it's going to look like whenever we give them a quote. It'd be great.
Yeah. So this is just our logos. It's just what I have on my computer right at this moment. But you would pull that in. Oh, that's just the mockup. So you could add the mockup in here, or what it did by pulling this in, it pulled pricing. So you're going to see this blue box here. It says refresh pricing. So it's going to generate a price automatically. That price is generated from what the price is that you get from Alpha or Sanmar, plus the quantities, plus the parameters of that pricing that you have on your back end. So watch what happens. Say your this is t-shirts. So say your hat's changed from 10 to 50. It's going to generate another blue box to refresh, and you're going to see that price go down based on what your matrix is on the back end.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. This mockup creator, it's also going to pull in a picture of that black shirt, right? So I don't add these on my back end. This just comes up automatically. So you can come in here and you can add the design to it. And this is like one of my favorite things. I don't need to go to my husband or my art department to do mockups anymore. I mean, sometimes, but
I don't have to bug Alex every day.
If you have something super simple, you don't have to bug Alex. You can come in here with this little eraser and you can erase this stuff and get rid of the white and go like this. And look, there you go. You got a mock-up. 2 seconds.
Golly.
That was nice.
That'll save me like an hour of work.
Me too. I'm like in Photoshop. I'm like an idiot. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, how do you do this? How do you do that? So now you got it here.
That's so nice.
Fees you can put in for you guys, whatever makes sense for you. These are all customizable on your back end as well. So you can add whatever makes sense. So you're going to save it and finish, save and finish. And now you have this quote built out. So you can go into the more action section here, and you're going to be able to view what this looks like to your customer. So this is what they're going to see when they open up the quote from you. So everything's built out. So if we go back to this quote here, what really drives the Printavo, like, you can take that link, email it to a customer, but I'm sure you're tired of keeping track of emails and approvals and all of that kind of stuff. And it's annoying to have to send the same email 25,000 times a day. Let people know, quote, proof, order ready for pickup. So the magic really happens, and like the efficiency benefit happens here, where you have all of these statuses built out. And now this is a demo store that's been built out for a while. But this is all of the things that happens in their shop that they need statuses for. They need to know when a job is at a particular. So instead of updating your Google Sheet and retyping something every single day, you come in here and select the status, and it just moves it to a different color. So you customize all of this and you build it out as you go. So at this point in our shop, we would send a quote and a proof approval. So we have a status here called quote and proof, or quote approval sent, and we would click on it. Now, not only does it change this box here to say that, so everyone can see it here.
Yeah.
They can also see it. I'm going to go back to the main calendar. So it's due on the 8th. So it's going to be all the way down here. So we're right down here, the job. So it's going to also change it on the calendar. So you'll be able to see it on the calendar and what status it's in. But if you go back into that job, the magic is that they automated a approval button on this invoice, as well as an email to the customer by just clicking this button.
So we can send them their invoice and they can approve it, and it'll just like automatically update whether it's approved.
So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So you can always go into your messages tab and see what messages were sent to the customer. So and you can always go in. I use messages tab and public invoice view a whole lot. So you can come in here and see exactly what it did. So by clicking that button, it added this box to it. You can have any number of approvals in your system. So like if you send out, sometimes people want to see a spec sample of a patch, right? You could create an approval that says like approved spec sample, and like make an automation that when you click this box, like when you choose this status, it's going to send them an approval for a spec sample and attach it. So the sky's the limit in terms of like, it doesn't just have quote and proof. You can make anything on the back end for approvals, whatever you want to do. So the message that it sent to the customer is under this messages tab. So if you were john@doe.com, you would have gotten this email that says, hey, John, click over here. Thanks, we appreciate it. And then they would have a box down here that would get them to that invoice that I was just showing you. They could then click on it, and we'll go back and I'll show you what that does. So he would click on it, look at his job, and then type his name and approve it. And then that's going to do a couple of things. We're going to go back here and refresh. And now just by him clicking that button, it now says, hey, shop, the quote was approved. We're waiting for his payment. And then it also sends him an email saying, hey, John, we're excited to work with you, but we need your payment. And it's also now giving this green payment button to him. So all of that stuff, like those 5 or 6 steps that you have to do in order to get an order ready for production, like to even order the goods, is all automated by a couple clicks, and you're not chasing people, and you can look at that main calendar and see where anything is at any given time and know exactly what's going on. So they can come in here and they can pay for it right here.
A lot of my folks, I try to push to send me a check so I ain't gotta pay credit card fees.
That's totally fine. So this is what we do in our shop. You don't have to do that. So oops, I stopped sharing. Sorry. Let me get you back. So I just want to make sure that you are always getting paid.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that you're keeping track of when things are paid. So if you get checks when the order is complete, totally fine. What I would do is I would create a terms that says like cash on delivery or check on delivery. And then that's their terms. Everyone knows that that's how they pay.
Okay.
And then when they come in, and then you just work it through your shop. Like none of this is based on what you do as a shop. And what's great about Printavo is that it's simple. So you're not married to this stuff. This is something that they have because this is how their shop works. Your shop works differently.
Gotcha.
So you would just come in here when you're paid and click add a payment, and you would come in and just say they paid by check. I put the check number in there just for my reference, and then you just hit submit. And then what that's going to do is mark it as paid right here. And then there's nothing outstanding.
Okay, what about credit card stuff? Does that go through y'all, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have an embedded payments processor, and our fees are very similar to like Stripe and stuff. We just pushed over to that a couple months ago. I was running through Stripe and I was kind of hesitant to like sign on. I'm like, why do I need to sign on with their payment processor? But actually, I'm super happy I did, because we were chasing things in like Stripe and trying to figure out like which transactions mixed with which invoices and which ones applied to something. And what's really awesome about this is that everything is right here. So they pay, like you're literally working out of one system. So if you go into payments, you're going to be able to see all of the payments that were taken for orders. And then you can just click over to them if there's a question. And then you can also refund directly from, like you can edit this. Oop, that's an edit, but.
So a lot of times we do like, we get, if it's a big order, we send it to another shop and then they print it. So they screen print, like we have 600 shirts or something, and then they screen print it and get it sent back to us. Well, sometimes there's like discrepancies in there and they didn't, like there's paint on it or something. And so we have to refund them, and you can refund them straight from this. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yep. And I'm not able to see a refund button because we haven't really taken that many payments in here, like this is our demo account. But you go in here, you see here, you can refund directly from the invoice.
All right, nice.
It's so nice. And then the analytics are all here. So like if you go down to these deposits here.
Do you know the credit card fees? You know what the fees are?
It's 3.5.
3.5?
Yep. Yeah.
And what per transaction? Do you have like a per transaction?
I think it's 10 cents, 30 cents. It's like right in line with Stripe. I can pull it up for you and send you the info on it.
All right.
So here you're going to see it goes in batches. So you're able to see exactly what's depositing and what's coming out, and then what invoices they're applied to, and just click into them. And as you can see, like here, this went in on July 8th. This was probably a weekend. I think July 8th was a weekend. So then it went in on the Monday. So it just takes a day or two. This one went in on the 18th, and then it's in your bank on the 19th. So it's easy to see everything right here.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah.
It's going to make it a lot nicer too.
It's
right
just
now,
like
everything through Shopify. Like if they want to pay,
Shopify's expensive.
Yeah, and I run everything through my Shopify, and I just basically send them an invoice through Shopify, and then they just pay it like that. And then it kind of gets lost in there. Did they pay, or have they paid, or it just makes it. This is gonna make it easier.
And what I do is like, okay, so say, I'll show you what I do too, to like make it easier. So say this person picked up their order, like order ready for pickup, and that will, so then you would push it through your workflow, right? And you would have statuses for all the different things that you guys do. There's also a spot here called tasks. And so you can have different, so who's in your like production room, if you come into tasks, you can have a preset task list for like production prep or whatever that means for you. And
So
then
that's what I was kind of wanting to do and make like see what we could have like.
Yep.
As
you can have any number of these, yeah, and then you can assign it to different users. So if your same person is always doing production prep, when you make this task list in your settings, you can set it that it's assigned to the same person. They don't have theirs assigned to anyone just because they, I guess, you know, in this shop, it's our demo shop, but they could assign it to whoever. You can always change it. And then what it does is like Alex has a task bucket or whatever for art. So like anything that is assigned to Alex will show up in this task bucket, and he can go in here at any time and see what his tasks are and what he's supposed to do. You guys just have to take whatever operating procedures that you're doing in your shop and kind of just get it mapped out, and then build your statuses and your task lists from there, if that makes sense.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah. So what we do, and this is a best practice tip, I try and give people these nuggets when they ask the question. So for these things, after production's complete or whatever, for us, it's order ready for pickup, shipped, or delivery scheduled. Once the order's done, you know, so say it's going to say order ready for pickup. Well, say they picked it up and it's not paid yet. You know, you can go into your invoices and pull up everything that's not paid, and then just, you know, create a button like, you know, you see here, they have one that's like invoice sent, past due, 60 days past due. And it just gives you an idea of what's going on with the job. And if you keep needing to follow up, it's just in one spot. So if you went into these invoices here and you could see what's past due, what's current, you know, all of that. So, you know, if you're, you know, say you're like, oh, I'm doing accounting, I want to see like who has outstanding invoices. You click on this and then you click into each one and you just move it to your invoice is past due 30 days, and it sends them a note and it sends them the thing to pay or drop off a check or whatever you want to do.
That's
There
nice.
you see, this is a patch. Just found this. It'll take a second to pop up.
I can see.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a patch one. Oh, that was on the shirt, but it's like a patch design.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, so it's very easy to use, very easy to figure out, very powerful, and then it's customizable based on what you do in your shop.
Okay. Yeah, that's what basically what I was wanting to do is like have it where Audrey gets an order in, she puts it in there, and then if I need to order hats, I can order hats, and then if it's a patch order, a leather patch order, she can assign it to Alex. Alex knows what he's got, and he also has we use like paper copies of everything, like little files like this for each folder, which we'll probably still end up using these, but like, you know.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And like I can kind of what I can do is I really want to know, like a lot of times I'll come here early and someone's like, hey, I need this tomorrow. I can like move it to Alex like top priority list. Is that
I'm going to show you something else too. So yeah, so what we do is we print work orders still in our shop because I like paper. So what's cool is you can print this work order and stick it in one of those job folders and keep it with your job or whatever. You can also scan this QR code. So if Alex has a question about that particular job, he can scan this and pop into it and see exactly what's going on with that order. And this is just sensitive to like Alex would only be able to see it. If a customer scans if for some reason a customer gets that and scans it, it's not going to allow them to access like your back end stuff.
Okay.
But also what it does is, see where I have too many tabs open. You can also create box labels. So what's cool is you put your logo on these and your logo shows up. This is a QR code to scan. So if there's questions about what's in a box, you split your boxes, you label them 1 of 1, 1 of 2, whatever. Stick the work order in a job jacket, put it in with the box, or hang it up on your, on your board, wherever you hang your job jackets. And then Alex can come in and scan what's in here and be like, oh, I know what I'm doing, and just make sure everyone's on the same page. So it just works pretty seamlessly. There's just like all these little neat tools that just make your job so much easier.
Yeah, it would make our job a lot easier.
The other thing I want to show you real quick, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on it, and we can talk pricing on like the different platforms, but what this does here, oops, unshared. So the whiteboard calendar, and for the longest time, we just use this whiteboard calendar to run our shop because it's just me and my husband and a couple part-time employees. But what we do now is we use Power Scheduler, and this is available on the premium platform. And I don't know if you want it as robust as this, but we were able to like move things through with different task lists and statuses, just like you're talking about. And like there's ways in your settings to like, when this status is selected, send a note to Alex saying we need art. So like, you know, it might be like when artwork needed is selected, email Alex's account with, you know, job specs or something like that. So you can do very creative things in terms of working it through your production. But we have shops that we have that have 3 autos, 2 6-head embroidery machines, DTF station, a wide format printer. And so sometimes the number of statuses they need to run their shop can get cumbersome because you guys know sometimes you have something in receiving, but you're still waiting on the art. But then you have a hat that's messed up and back ordered. So you're like in this weird limbo, and there's no number of statuses that can really accurately capture a job at like exactly where it is, right? So this Power Scheduler allows you, and you're talking about doing a lot of rush orders. What this Power Scheduler allows you to do is schedule the jobs on like a production calendar, right? So we use this for like when it's due to the customer, but this is where we schedule the jobs to be on a particular piece of equipment. And this might not be something that you guys would want to use right away, but you could always use it in the future if you don't feel a need for it. So you can drill down into a particular week, and then it shows you each thing, each of your workflows. So, you know, if you have DTG, there's, you know, all right, so say you're doing DTG. These are the 2 jobs that you have for DTG.
Yeah, we have 3 right now. So that, you know, we can kind of do it in priority. And then have you ordered the prints yet?
Yep, exactly. You are very smart. Yeah. I love that you understand how you would use that. So that's exactly how we use it. The screen print one might make a little more sense. So all of these are prints. Each line represents a job. And then each of these columns represents particular important features that we found people want in the industry. So, you know, a lot of this is pulled over from the invoice itself, but like this location, garment, screens, ink, printing, neck labels, these tabs you customize yourself. So you can have whatever you want that makes sense to you. So, you know, are the garments partial received? Is there a problem? Are the screens started, the ink? And so you customize this to whatever you want. If you want Alex to just see an art thing where it just tells you like what the jobs are, if you want your screen room just to see what screens need to be done, you can do whatever you want here. And then with those rush orders, what you're talking about is if you know that a particular piece of equipment has a certain number of minutes that you can actually effectively work on it, you would assign minutes to your press. So say your press 1 can do 40 minutes a day. Great. So now you can drag and drop, you can assign time to these jobs and say this is going to take 500 minutes. Like this is an over exaggeration, but it just kind of gets to the point. Yeah. Is you can take this and drag and drop it onto a particular day. And then it's going to tell you, whoa, there's way too much time on this machine. You got to move some of these jobs down. And then it really helps you schedule and see like, okay, can I take that rush order on Friday? Can I move some stuff around so that we can take that customer's 100 patch cap rush order? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that'll be nice.
I love
so, which is a cool way to see. I know. So it's really cool. If you guys have any other questions, I can answer them for you. I'm happy to sign you on too. So the light, I don't even talk about because you only get 20 invoices a month. And if you're serious about having a shop, you're hoping you're getting more than 20 orders a month. Standard versus premium. This is $199. This is $399. We started here and we moved up to premium pretty quickly. The big differences here is the automations. So 15 versus 30. The automations are not the colored bars. The automations are the actions associated with the colored bars. So you're not going to automate everything because there's times when you're like, you do something once every 6 weeks. You're not going to automate that, but you still have a status for it. So that's that difference. I
Okay.
actually think sometimes I think less is more. All the same stuff here. Power Scheduler is why we moved up, and production files. Those are the two reasons why we moved up to the $399. I was spending $200 in time of my time every month trying to find stuff. So I was like, I'm done. Like, it's just time is money. I'm done with it. You can text on the premium plan, and you can also make it look like it's coming from your website. So whatever your website is, it'll look like any emails or messages are coming from your website in particular. Unlimited quotes and invoices, 20 users, more than enough for you guys. And you get access to our merch, like our e-com stores. They're more like order taking stores for like teen moms and stuff. Probably not like your Shopify store that you have, but you do have that access on the premium. And then QuickBooks exports on both. And then you do have API and Zapier access on premium. You can do some pretty cool stuff there. But we don't support that in terms of development. Those are bridges that you would need an outside developer to create. Zapier is like the layman's version of API access. It's like pre-built bridges.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. What'd you say? So, and then this customer success is how I have my job, really. I was super good friends with our success manager and was like doing kind of like guest demos for shops, trying to help them close some deals when they had a tough shop. And when I was looking for a job, that's where I came back to. So as soon as you sign on, you get a dedicated success manager to kind of help you get started, and you can book time on their calendar as much or as little as you want, but they set up a whole bunch of appointments with you when you're getting started to kind of get you working through the process. And then we also give you tons of content to get you started. But I built ours out, very simple to use. I tweak it all the time. And I'm in love with it. Like I really do. I couldn't do sales for something I didn't love. And I love demoing Printavo because it's a game changer for shops like you guys. You're our sweet spot for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've only been doing it for 7 months, so we're at this point where we need to figure out something.
And you want to do it now. You don't want to wait until you are like doing $1 million a year, because then you're going to be like, I don't have time to do it. There's never a good time. You're always going to be busy. But the sooner you can get something in place, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, I think